The most formidable barrier to living a life of true fulfillment lies not in the world around us, but within the confines of our own minds. The ego, that insidious voice whispering doubts and instilling fears, often keeps us ensnared in cycles of self-deprecation and anxiety. The ego trap, why it's stopping you from living fully, serves as your compass through the labyrinth of self-delusion and mental turmoil, illuminating paths to genuine self-acceptance and mental clarity. Are you ready to confront the shadow of your ego and step into the light of your authentic self? This journey may be daunting, but the rewards are life-altering. The Ego Trap, Why It's Stopping You from Living Fully, written and published by Mindset Liberation. Chapter 1. Identifying the Ego's Mask. Beneath the surface of our daily lives, a profound struggle silently unfolds, a battle not against external forces, but against an often overlooked adversary, the ego. This constructed identity, meticulously built over years, serves as both a shield and a prison, cloaking our true selves while claiming to protect us. For many who grapple with mental health issues, recognizing the ego's mask is the first and perhaps the most critical step toward genuine healing and self-awareness. The ego thrives on insecurities, perpetuating cycles of comparison, anxiety, and feelings of inadequacy that can be alienating and isolating. In fact, studies suggest that a staggering percentage of individuals suffer from some form of ego-driven mental turmoil. According to the American Psychological Association, nearly 1 in 5 adults experiences mental illness at some point in their lives. While there are varied factors contributing to these struggles, a significant root often lies in the ego's relentless quest for validation and approval. It incites us to chase fleeting achievements, material possessions, and superficial relationships, entrenching us deeper into despair or disappointment when we inevitably fall short of idealized expectations. Consider the case of Sarah, a promising young professional whose career was flourishing on the outside yet crumbling within. Haunted by an insatiable desire to demonstrate her worth through accolades and recognition, she often sacrificed her mental well-being for external applause. In every corner office and prestigious title, she sought affirmation that felt just out of reach. The hollow triumphs unmasked a painful truth. Her ego had ensnared her in a cycle of anxiety, leading to sleepless nights filled with self-doubt and a pervading sense of isolation from her true desires. This is just one narrative among countless others, demonstrating how pervasive the struggle with ego can be. It lurks in the shadows of every social media post, every attempt to keep up with peers, and every anxious thought that demands perfection. Experts in psychology have identified the ego as a major contributor to various mental health struggles, scrutinizing its role not just in anxiety and depression, but also in conditions such as imposter syndrome and chronic dissatisfaction. The ego feeds on the flawed belief that our worth must be earned, rather than inherently possessed. This realization is unsettling, but essential. Acknowledging its influence is the key to unraveling its grip. When we identify how the ego masquerades as our identity, we begin to distinguish between the authentic self, vibrantly alive with passion and purpose, and the ego which, saturated with fears and doubts, constructs an illusory facade. The disquieting truth is that the ego, while often perceived as a source of strength, serves instead as a barrier to genuine connection and contentment. Each day presents an opportunity to question its authority in our lives. Each moment offers a chance to peel back the layers of that mask and confront who we are beneath it. As we embark on this exploration of the ego's pervasive nature, we will uncover the fundamental practices that empower liberation from its confines and reignite our journey toward self-discovery and emotional resilience. Understanding the ego's mask is just the first revelation on this transformative path. It is an enlightening acknowledgement that working through these buried layers is essential to emerge stronger and more authentically ourselves. The grip of the ego extends far beyond mere thoughts. It intricately weaves itself into the very fabric of our emotions, shapes our decision-making processes, permeates our relationships, and can seriously undermine our self-esteem. This insidious influence can cloud judgment, skew perceptions, and propel us into patterns of behavior that are detrimental to our mental health and overall well-being. The ego fosters a defensive posture, urging us to protect ourselves at all costs and driving our motivation toward external validation rather than inner fulfillment. This quest for approval often leads to poor emotional regulation and heightened vulnerability to stress and anxiety, outcomes that many individuals experience without fully understanding the source of their turmoil. Consider the experience of Mark, a talented artist who battled with overwhelming self-doubt and an insatiable need for recognition. Each piece he created bore the heavy weight of his ego's expectations, leading him to abandon his authentic style in a desperate attempt to please critics and audiences alike. With every exhibit, instead of aspiring to inspire, he found himself plunged into an emotional roller coaster, swinging between fleeting praise and crippling self-criticism that gnawed at his self-esteem. Psychological studies emphasize this dynamic. Research from the University of California indicates that reliance on external praise can lead to fragile self-worth, wherein one's emotional state becomes wholly dependent upon the transient affirmations of others. The adverse influences of ego are not confined to the self. They spill into our relationships, clouding our ability to connect authentically with others. When we wear the ego's mask, we tend to engage in superficial exchanges, focusing on how we are perceived instead of experiencing genuine intimacy. This often distances us from partners, friends, and family, leaving us feeling isolated even when surrounded by those we love. Real-life cases abound. Take Jenna, who immersed herself in social circles yet felt profoundly lonely. Despite being the life of the party, her ego constantly urged her to showcase a polished persona, rendering her incapable of vulnerability or true connection. Unsurprisingly, she found these relationships to be faint echoes of companionship rather than fulfilling bonds. Cognitive therapists emphasize that these behaviors stem from the ego's relentless push for perfectionism and the fear of being found out. Once we peel away the facade built by the ego, it becomes evident that seeking genuine relationships necessitates confidence in our authentic, imperfect selves. It is precisely this self-acceptance, stripped of egoic distractions, that fosters meaningful connections, not the shimmering projections cloaked in artificial bravado. Why do we constantly surrender ourselves to this ego-driven mindset? The answers are often unsettling, rooted deep in our socio-cultural conditioning, which prizes achievement, appearances, and status above authenticity. Our upbringing may incentivize external validation, resonating with the notion that our worth is determined by accolades and relationships deemed successful by societal standards. As a result, we become spectators of our lives instead of proactive participants, remaining trapped in cycles where our happiness hinges on external factors. This precarious dynamic underscores the urgency of recognizing the signs of ego's control. The next part of this chapter will unveil the hidden warning signs that most individuals overlook, allowing us to reclaim our authenticity and refuse the dictate of the ego's deceptive whispers. The path to liberation and emotional resilience is within reach, and it begins with awareness of how this masked perpetrator operates in our lives. Recognizing the manifestations of ego-driven mental health issues is vital to breaking the cycle of self-doubt and emotional turmoil. These manifestations can present themselves in myriad forms, each revealing layers of discontent and suffering, driven by our internalized beliefs about worth and identity. Common signs include heightened anxiety in social situations, an insatiable need for validation, and chronic self-criticism. Understanding these symptoms illuminates the path toward healing and personal growth. It acts as the wake-up call that many of us sorely need. Take the experience of Alex, who fell into debilitating anxiety whenever he was expected to present ideas in meetings. On the surface, he appeared accomplished, wielding accolades and recognition from peers, yet internally he was a prisoner of his ego, constantly fearing that he would mess up or be criticized. This defensive posture stifled his creativity and reduced his professional satisfaction, leading to bouts of self-loathing after each interaction. Days turned into weeks when he would replay scenarios in his mind, fixating on each perceived blunder, further entrenching his sense of inadequacy. Another striking example is Emma, who constantly positioned herself as the perfect friend. Though she provided unfaltering support, her ego's urgent demands compelled her to dismiss her own needs for the sake of gaining approval. This resulted in burnout and resentment, which ultimately eroded her friendships. Emma would spend countless hours worrying about her friends' perceptions rather than nurturing her own well-being, thus stifling her authentic self in the process. These scenarios vividly illustrate how ego manifests as an obstacle rather than an ally in our lives, damaging both our emotional state and interpersonal connections. Acknowledging these patterns within ourselves marks the first crucial step toward healing. While confronting our flaws may seem daunting, recognizing the sway of our egos enables us to take proactive measures against its control. Self-awareness is like turning on the light in a dark room. Suddenly, the shadows of self-deprecation and fear diminish. Acknowledging these issues fosters compassion for ourselves and provides the motivation required to move forward. Moreover, understanding that we are not alone in this battle is liberating. Psychological research underscores the importance of connection in addressing mental health challenges. By realizing that many experience similar struggles, we begin to dismantle the judgment fostered by our egos. Creating a community where vulnerability is celebrated can foster resilience and healing, encouraging individuals to step out of the shadows of self-doubt and into the light of authenticity. Having laid the groundwork for recognizing the internal voices that drive our fears, the next chapter will explore pivotal strategies for escaping the self-validation cycles that fuel our egos. Practical tips and effective methods will be unveiled, equipping you with the tools to build inner confidence and emotional self-reliance. As we journey together, remember that understanding the roots of these mental health issues is just the beginning of the healing process. For those ready to reclaim their lives, consider subscribing to Mindset Liberation for more insights, and don't hesitate to share your personal reflections or suggestions for our next topic. Each step taken toward understanding is a step closer to the life you were meant to lead. Chapter 2: Escaping Self-Validation Cycles. Breaking free from the self-validation cycles that hold us captive is not just a lofty aspiration, it is an attainable reality waiting to be claimed. Many of us find ourselves ensnared in a relentless pursuit of external approval, often sacrificing our happiness and sense of self in the process. The good news is that there is a solution, an empowering journey toward recognizing and liberating ourselves from these harmful patterns. Understanding how self-validation cycles originate, along with actionable steps to dismantle their grip, will set the foundation for profound personal transformation. Self-validation cycles often emerge from deeply ingrained beliefs instilled during our formative years and reinforced by societal standards. A compelling statistic from a 2020 survey conducted by the Pew Research Center indicates that a striking 70% of adults feel their self-worth is contingent upon how others perceive them. This statistic underscores the pervasiveness of the need to seek validation externally, revealing a crucial truth. We are not alone in this struggle. When we realize that millions grapple with similar issues, a sense of collective empowerment arises. Consider the case of Rachel, who is adept at projecting an image of success and confidence. In reality, she finds herself anxiously awaiting likes and comments on her social media posts, determined to gauge her worth through the feedback she receives. When the desired response arrives, she experiences a fleeting high, only for inadequacy to return when the notifications inevitably pause. It creates a harmful cycle of dependency on external validation that tragically detracts from her ability to engage fully in life. The detrimental impact on her mental and emotional well-being prompts the question, what if she could escape these cycles and learn to honor her intrinsic value? Experts in psychology emphasize that breaking this cycle hinges on embracing self-compassion and nurturing our sense of inner worth. Practicing self-compassion, per the studies by Dr. Kristen Neff, allows us to treat ourselves with the same graciousness we would extend to a friend. Her research shows that when we cultivate this forgiving inner dialogue, we inch closer to dismantling the compulsion to seek validation externally. Imagine a future where validation comes from within, a shift that not only promotes emotional resilience, but alleviates the anxiety tethered to pleasing others. It is essential to comprehend that moving away from self-validation does not equate to rejecting feedback or support from others. Instead, it signifies a paradigm shift wherein we filter outside opinions through our values and beliefs. It empowers individuals, enabling them to define their worth without emotional upheavals. Individuals can actively reclaim their choices by embracing self-identified goals rather than those dictated by external appraisals. As we embark on this journey of self-actualization, envision the possibilities ahead, the vibrant life you stand to cultivate by loosening the chains of self-validation. This chapter calls upon you to harness the courage within to rewrite your narrative based not on the whims of social judgments, but on the strength of self-acceptance. Each step fosters growth while reminding you of your capability to transform your mindset and emotions. As we delve deeper into strategies for cultivating self-reliance and authenticity, remember, the power to reshape your relationship with self-worth resides within you. Embrace this opportunity to unlock your intrinsic potential and take the steps needed to escape the validating applause of the outside world. Throughout the forthcoming sections, we will equip you with the tools necessary to forge an unwavering connection with yourself and create the life you deserve. The method of focusing on self-compassion and intrinsic validation emerges as an effective antidote to the debilitating patterns of self-validation. Rooted in a wealth of psychological research, this approach has the power to transform the landscape of an individual's mental health by fostering resilience and cultivating a sense of self-worth that is firmly anchored in personal values rather than external opinions. Studies have demonstrated that individuals who practice self-compassion experience lower levels of anxiety and depression, as discovered in research led by Dr. Neff, which reveals its capacity to reduce negative self-talk and promote emotional well-being. Self-compassion empowers individuals to shift their perspective, turning inward to meet their own emotional needs. By acknowledging imperfection, not as a failing but as a fundamental aspect of the human experience, individuals can create a more nurturing inner dialogue. In doing so, they dismantle the harmful patterns established by constant validation seeking and the often futile pursuit of external approval. Neuroscience supports this approach as well, showing how self-compassion can engage the brain's reward centers, promoting feelings of safety and calm, which are essential in fostering a stable sense of self. A poignant illustration of this transformation can be seen through the story of Liam, a former corporate professional who found himself at the peak of his career but paradoxically felt lost amid his successes. For years, Liam chased accolades, driven by pervasive beliefs about how achievements defined his worth. However, after stumbling into self-compassion workshops, he encountered profound insights that began to unravel the tightly knit fabric of dependence on external validation. Initially hesitant, Liam learned to recognize the internal critical voice that had kept him striving for perfection to appease others. With diligent practice, he adopted self-compassion exercises, such as writing self-affirmations and engaging in mindfulness meditation, creating an oasis of acceptance within himself. Gradually, Liam experienced a transformative shift. No longer bound by the chains of others' expectations, he engaged with life authentically, celebrating his unique qualities. His interactions became richer, cultivated by the unshackling embrace of self-worth that didn't waver according to the opinions of colleagues or social media commentary. Liam's journey underscores the transformative potential of adopting self-compassion as a practice, revealing tangible shifts in emotional resilience and interpersonal relationships. This method is effective because it fosters a grounded, stable foundation from which individuals can explore their emotions without the debilitating anxiety that comes with constantly seeking external appraisal. Instead of succumbing to the cyclical nature of self-validation, people equipped with self-compassion tend to respond to challenges more adaptively, allowing them to thrive in competitive environments without losing their sense of identity. Given the empathetic connection inherent in self-compassion, it poses an essential tool for anyone battling the emotional fallout from self-validation cycles. Understanding that you are more than the sum of your accomplishments is liberating. It unleashes the potential to embrace life with all its imperfections. This realization is urgent for anyone yearning to break free from the bonds of self-doubt and fear. As we proceed further, you'll discover practical techniques to implement these concepts into your daily life. The upcoming sections will delve deeper into the steps you can take to facilitate this internal awakening and establish a solid foundation for genuine self-acceptance. Embracing this powerful journey may be transformative, leading you comfortably into a realm where your worth is solely derived from within. Embracing self-compassion and moving away from the cycles of self-validation is a transformative journey, one that can be woven into your daily life through simple yet effective practices. Begin this process by cultivating an acute awareness of your self-talk. The first step is to commit to noticing the language you use when speaking to yourself. Each day, practice catching any critical thoughts or feelings of inadequacy and gently pause to reflect on their truthfulness. Instead of merely accepting these thoughts, ask yourself if you would speak to a friend in the same way. This gentle inquiry will act as the springboard for your evolution, fostering kindness where there was once self-criticism. Next, consider integrating a self-compassionate morning routine into your life. Start your day with a brief moment of mindfulness. Spend 5 minutes in silent reflection or meditative breathing. Set a positive intention for the day, focusing on self-acceptance rather than external approval. Conceptualizing your day ahead with a rooted sense of self-worth will frame your experiences positively. This practice promotes a sense of agency, encouraging you to relish small wins and acknowledge your accomplishments irrespective of how others perceive them. Additionally, journaling can be a profoundly effective exercise. Dedicate time each week to journal about experiences that carry emotional weight, highlighting moments when you seek validation from others. Write about what triggered those feelings and how they affected your emotions and decisions. Following this reflection, counter those experiences with affirming statements, rewriting the narrative from "I need to be perfect" to "I am enough as I am." This cognitive reframing will cement the practice of self-compassion in your mind, reinforcing the belief that your worth is not contingent on outside approval. Another powerful technique is the compassionate letter exercise. Allocate time each week to write a letter to yourself as if you were addressing a close friend. Acknowledge any struggles you face and express understanding and support. Allow your words to flow freely without the censor of judgment. This exercise is not merely cathartic. It invites a fresh perspective that reinforces your commitment to honoring yourself. As you implement these practices, celebrate your progress, no matter how small. Recognize and reward your efforts by noting these wins in your journaling. Perhaps you felt more in control during a social engagement, or you refrained from comparing yourself to a colleague. Retain these reflections as evidence of your evolving mindset. These small wins serve not only as motivation, but also as affirmations that you are indeed capable of transforming your self-perception. To compound this momentum, reach out to friends or trusted individuals who understand and support your mission towards self-compassion. Share your journey with them, discussing the strategies you are applying. Engaging with others about your efforts produces an atmosphere of accountability, further solidifying positive changes within yourself. As we wrap up this chapter, remember that implementing these practical steps is an ongoing process. Patience with yourself is key during this evolving journey. The work you're embarking on is more than a pursuit of self-acceptance. It's an actionable pathway to a life of authenticity, courage, and grace. But as we continue our exploration, the next chapter will explore how to detach from external approval, delving deeper into techniques for fostering an unwavering sense of internal validation that transforms your relationships and daily interactions. Before we move forward, make sure to subscribe to Mindset Liberation to receive further insights and encouragement along your journey. Don't hesitate to share your thoughts or suggestions in the comments. Each contribution helps to strengthen our community dedicated to personal growth and empowerment. Let's continue this journey together, celebrating every step we take toward a more fulfilled and authentic life. Chapter 3. Detaching from external approval. The relentless pursuit of external approval can undermine our self-worth and blur the lines of our identities, making it challenging to thrive in authenticity. However, the freeing journey of detaching from this constant need for external validation is not only achievable, it's transformative. By learning how to shift our focus inward, we can reclaim our identities and dissolve the chains that bind us to social validation, allowing us to navigate life with renewed confidence and self-assurance. This chapter reveals how to cultivate internal approval and discover the profound joy of embracing our true selves. The quest for validation from others is a deeply ingrained phenomenon, often rooted in societal expectations and personal experiences. Research shows that roughly 75% of individuals report feeling the pressure to meet external standards throughout their lives. According to a 2019 study published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology, individuals who depend highly on external validation reported lower self-esteem and higher anxiety levels. This compelling insight highlights how common the struggle for approval truly is and emphasizes the urgent need to address it. Consider the journey of Max, a talented writer who consistently sought validation from peers and social media platforms. His writing, exceptional in its own right, remained unfulfilled, filtered through the lens of external opinions. Every publication drew Max into the unpredictable realm of likes and comments, and he measured his worth based on the fleeting applause from readers, experiencing both euphoria and devastation depending on the responses he received. His writing began to feel less like self-expression and more like a performance aimed at pleasing others. This need for approval blinded him to the intrinsic value of his voice. Expert insights reveal that this cycle of seeking external approval stunts personal growth, preventing us from developing our authentic selves. Psychologist Dr. David Burns highlights that individuals trapped in seeking validation fail to validate their own emotions, leaving them feeling perpetually dissatisfied. The damage is not just emotional, it infiltrates the core of who we are. Max's dynamic evolved as he learned to reject the external gauges of success, directing his attention inward to nurture his unique voice without the lens of audience scrutiny. Recognizing this pivotal change on his journey played a significant role in freeing him from the limitations imposed by the expectations of others. An essential component of detachment from external approval stems from developing practices that bolster intrinsic validation. This is where self-awareness and acceptance play crucial roles. Taking time to engage in self-reflection allows individuals to define their values, strengths, and aspirations, allowing clarity to supersede societal norms and external judgments. By consciously prioritizing personal happiness and achievements over public accolades, we inherently shift the focus away from how others perceive us and cultivate a fulfilling connection to who we are. This chapter aims to energize your ability to transform your mindset and hold the reins of your emotional health firmly in your own hands. The freedom derived from understanding that self-worth can be cultivated internally allows you to navigate life more authentically, making choices aligned with your core values rather than succumbing to the weight of others' opinions. Whether you, like Max, find yourself considering external validation in daily life, or experience chronic anxiety stemming from those pressures, know that this journey toward independence is achievable. The exploration will continue, guiding you through dynamic strategies that facilitate and reinforce this newfound detachment as we move forward. By the end of this chapter, you'll be equipped with practical tools to foster self-acceptance that stands unaffected by societal scrutiny. Embrace this chapter as a step toward empowering your authentic self, ready and willing to thrive beyond the need for external approval. The method of detaching from external approval is not merely a theoretical concept. It is supported by a robust body of psychological research, demonstrating its effectiveness in enhancing self-esteem, reducing anxiety, and fostering authentic happiness. Central to this approach is the principle of intrinsic motivation, the understanding that our self-worth should stem from within rather than depend on the validation of others. Leveraging this framework encourages individuals to cultivate an inner sanctuary of acceptance and self-approval, dismantling the urgent need for external affirmation. Research consistently shows that when individuals emphasize intrinsic rather than extrinsic motivations, their overall well-being improves significantly. A study published in the journal Motivation and Emotion indicates that those who find satisfaction in personal achievements hobbies, or relationships independent of public appraisal report higher levels of happiness and lower stress levels. This shift in focus allows individuals to measure their achievements on a personal scale, paying less attention to external judgment. The need for external validation gradually diminishes as one learns to trust their own value and perception. A compelling example is that of Maya, a passionate artist and designer who spent years perfecting a portfolio that she hoped would impress critics and industry gatekeepers. With every project, she adjusted her style based on feedback, often sacrificing her artistic vision under the pressure to appease the tastes of others. This exhausting effort created not only frustration, but also deep-seated insecurity about her identity and skills. Anxiety plagued her as deadlines approached, with Maya feverishly awaiting validation from her peers and clients, fearing the harsh sting of rejection. The transformation unfolded when she sought guidance at a self-discovery workshop focused on intrinsic motivation. Through various exercises, such as redefining success and engaging in self-reflection practices, Maya learned to detach her self-worth from the accolades that once dictated her identity. The process was revealing and cathartic. She began to experiment with her art, a process meant solely for her own joy and expression, regardless of potential external acclaim. This gradual transformation shifted her focus on her inner motivations and led her to tap into unexplored creative depths. Over time, Maya developed a body of work characterized by authenticity and passion, culminating in a stunning exhibition representative of her unique voice. Feedback from others, while still appreciated, became secondary. She found delight in her art for its own sake, rather than relying on someone else's approval as a gauge of her success. This journey demonstrated detaching from external validation not only empowers the self but can also catalyze phenomenal growth in personal and professional domains. The effectiveness of this method in overcoming the relentless need for approval lies in its intrinsic affirmation of the self. By fostering self-acceptance, we liberate ourselves from anxiety tied to societal pressure, laying the groundwork for resilience and confidence. When we operate from a place of internal fulfillment, our decision-making becomes more aligned with our cores, branching out possibilities we had never considered, as Maya discovered. This momentum toward self-reliance is critical for anyone struggling under the weight of external expectations. It arms individuals with tools to rebuild a sense of identity rooted in personal values, encouraging you to forge ahead into a life where your validation springs from within. As we continue in this chapter, we will explore practical techniques for reinforcing this internal approval, enabling you to create boundaries that keep harmful external influences at bay. With each step taken, you will reinforce the understanding that your worth hinges on you alone, propelling you toward authentic living and deep satisfaction. Detaching from external approval is a journey that begins with actionable steps, each designed to reinforce your intrinsic value and bolster the confidence that structures your identity. As you embark on this pathway, keep in mind that progress is incremental, and celebrating small wins will cultivate the momentum necessary for lasting change. The first step is to practice daily affirmations that resonate with your sense of self. Start each day by writing down or reciting 3 affirmations focused on the core reasons you value yourself: your kindness, creativity, perseverance, or any other personal qualities you hold dear. This practice sets a tone of self-affirmation that helps anchor your worth independently of external judgment. Next, dedicate time to reflective journaling. At the end of each day, devote a few moments to articulate your experiences, focusing specifically on instances where you sought validation from others. Reflect on how it made you feel and challenge those feelings by noting how you evaluated your actions. Consider asking yourself questions like, what do I truly think about this experience? Or what did I learn about myself today? This self-reflection nurtures an understanding of your core values and helps you recognize that your worth stems from your experiences and insights rather than from outside opinions. To deepen your journey toward internal validation, establish a routine that incorporates acts of self-care that honor your true desires. This could involve dedicating time to hobbies you enjoy without concern for how they are perceived by others, be it painting, cooking, writing, or exercising. Allowing yourself to immerse in these activities helps build a sense of authenticity and pleasure, serving as tangible reminders that personal fulfillment can exist outside the realm of social accolades. Here, your daily practices create spaces for reconnecting with your own aspirations and passions. Consider integrating time-out periods during the week where you purposefully disengage from social media and external distractions. This may feel momentarily uncomfortable, but it allows you to evaluate how often you seek approval or external validation in daily interactions. Use this time to reconnect with yourself through walking in nature, reading, or meditating. The insights gleaned during these moments assist in understanding the distinction between who you are and who you feel compelled to be based on societal narratives. As you implement these steps, make it a priority to celebrate your wins, no matter the scale. Acknowledge even the smallest successes, whether it's catching yourself before seeking approval or enjoying an hour immersed in personal projects, free from concern about outcomes. Each small victory enhances your resolve while reinforcing the principles of intrinsic validation that you are cultivating. This process of recognition allows your journey to feel more rewarding and less daunting. Concluding this chapter, the next focus will shift toward practical strategies that reinforce your internal approval and further dismantle the reliance on external validation. We will delve into how to set emotional boundaries that protect your newfound sense of self-worth, equipped with techniques that prepare you for potential challenges ahead. As we navigate this continuing story together, I invite you to join the community at Mindset Liberation. Subscribe and share your thoughts or suggestions in the comments section. Your engagement fuels our collective journey. Let's continue empowering one another toward a more authentic life where we cherish the importance of self-acceptance and hold the reins of our own validation. Chapter 4. Reclaiming Inner Authentic Power. In a world that often prioritizes appearances and societal expectations, reclaiming your inner authentic power becomes an essential journey toward genuine self-expression and fulfillment. So many individuals find themselves trapped in roles shaped by external influences, stifling their true selves and leading to feelings of inadequacy and confusion. Fortunately, the awareness and understanding of how to cultivate and reclaim this power from within can transform lives. This chapter will guide you in rediscovering your authentic self, illuminating pathways to foster greater self-confidence and a deeper connection to your values. The origins of disconnection from our inner power stem from a myriad of factors, including upbringing, societal conditioning, and the pressures of cultural norms. A staggering 85% of people report feeling unfulfilled in their careers and personal lives, according to a survey by Gallup. This systemic disenchantment arises from a disconnect between one's identity and the roles they are expected to play. When we conform to others' expectations, at work, in relationships, or within society, we gradually begin to lose the sight of who we truly are. Research conducted by the University of California found that individuals who embrace their authentic selves exhibit higher emotional resilience, increased self-esteem, and improved mental health. Consider the journey of Sophie, a talented graphic designer who gradually transformed her identity into a shadow of what others expected her to be. Although she successfully navigated the landscape of corporate design, she felt an ever-growing discrepancy between her work and her true passion for vibrant abstract art. Dubbed the corporate echo, she tailored her creative talents to fit the mold laid out by clients and upper management, suppressing the vibrant artist within. Sophie's attendance to meetings became strife with self-doubt as she struggled to reconcile the power of her creative vision with expectations that felt unaligned with her values. With help from a mentor knowledgeable in personal empowerment principles, Sophie embarked on a transformative journey to recover her authentic power. Her mentor guided her through reflective exercises focused on personal values and passions, urging her to conduct a deep dive into her artistic intentions. This exercise opened Sophie's eyes to a profound truth. Her creative potential had always been within her reach, buried under the weight of external expectations, rather than absent entirely. The case of Sophie is not isolated. It resonates across countless individuals who wrestle with the constriction of identity created by societal demands. Experts advocate embracing authentic power as a revolution against conformity. Dr. Brené Brown, a leading researcher on vulnerability and authenticity, emphasizes that true empowerment arises from self-acceptance and willingness to align your life with your core values. This alignment ensures that decisions made, whether conscious or subconscious, will reverberate powerfully, reconnecting individuals to the essence of their authentic identities. As this chapter unfolds, understand this journey requires both courage and commitment. Reclaiming your inner power does not imply an overnight transformation. Instead, it's a gradual process, one that fosters personal growth and introspection. You already possess the agency to dissect the constructs that cloud your self-identity, ready to embrace the vibrancy of your true self. The sense of empowerment waiting at your fingertips will not only help you reclaim lost aspects of your identity, but also fortify emotional resilience and enhance your overall fulfillment. With each subsequent section, preparation to confront the challenges that may arise on this journey will be key. We will explore essential tools and techniques designed to help you reconnect with your authentic power, empowering you to assert your true identity against the noise of external expectations. Let this be an invigorating step towards embracing your inner self, unveiling the authentic power that has always been yours to claim. Reclaiming your inner authentic power through self-discovery and self-acceptance is an effective method for overcoming the limitations imposed by external influences. This strategy not only helps individuals recognize and affirm their true identities, but also breaks the cycles of self-doubt and emotional turmoil often tied to conformity. Embracing your authentic power fosters a greater sense of agency and contentment, ultimately paving the way for a more fulfilling life. By understanding the mechanisms behind this approach, you can appreciate its profound impact on personal growth and emotional well-being. The scientific backing for this method is robust. A body of research has shown that individuals who engage in practices that promote authentic self-expression experience higher levels of emotional resilience and life satisfaction. For instance, a study published in the Journal of Happiness Studies found that individuals who align their actions with their core values report greatly reduced levels of stress and increased overall happiness. This evidence highlights the powerful connection between embracing one's true identity and cultivating mental well-being. Consider the transformative journey of Lisa, a former marketing executive who felt increasingly suffocated by the corporate personas she created over 10 years in the industry. Unfulfilled and disillusioned, she often found herself longing for her true passions, writing and teaching. One pivotal moment came when she attended a workshop focusing on authenticity, where participants explored their values and purpose. Like Sophie, Lisa began confronting the expectations she and others had placed on her. This process was initially uncomfortable as she faced deeply ingrained beliefs that dictated worth according to societal standards. However, by embracing this discomfort, she uncovered the potential for true self-discovery. Lisa implemented daily practices during her journey toward reclaiming her inner power, such as setting clear intentions and reflecting on her core values. By committing 10 minutes each morning to visualize her true self and articulate her dreams, she began transforming her outlook and actions. Slowly, she aligned her daily decisions with her authentic aspirations, whether that meant pursuing writing opportunities or offering workshops in her local community. Through this conscious alignment with her genuine self, Lisa regained a profound sense of autonomy, enabling her to transition from corporate life into a fulfilling career that resonated with her passions. This method is particularly effective in empowering individuals like Lisa because it fosters emotional adaptability and resilience. Embracing one's authentic inner power encourages the development of healthy coping mechanisms that alleviate stress and anxiety. As you lean into the discomfort of self-discovery, you create space for personal growth, paving the way for a more fulfilled life. Each phase of this transformation fortifies your emotional health and enhances your ability to cope with the inevitable challenges that arise. Moreover, reclaiming your authentic power redefines your relationship with failure. When you operate without the confines of external approval, setbacks no longer equate to diminished self-worth. Instead, they become opportunities for learning and growth, infused with the understanding that your identity transcends any singular experience. By embracing the idea that your authentic self is not defined by external measures, you open yourself to rich possibilities for exploration and experimentation. Each decision made through the lens of authenticity reverberates in your emotional landscape, creating lasting change and empowering you along the way. As you continue this journey, prepare to explore actionable techniques designed to fortify your inner power and further connect you with your authentic self. Together, we will develop practical strategies that will help you assert your identity confidently in a world that often pushes back. The path to reclaiming your inner power is transformative, and the rewards are immense. Let this chapter energize you for the challenges ahead. Reclaiming your inner authentic power starts with tangible actions that anchor you in your true self. Step 1 is dedicating a few moments each day to engage in self-reflection. Consider keeping a journal where you can record your thoughts, feelings, and aspirations. Each morning or evening, set aside 10 minutes to write freely about what authenticity means to you. Focus specifically on instances where you felt most yourself, as well as areas where you feel pressured to conform. By documenting these reflections, you'll begin to identify patterns in your authentic self versus the roles shaped by external influences. Next, develop a personal mantra to ground yourself during challenging moments. Begin by crafting a short, powerful phrase that encapsulates your core values, such as "I am enough" or "My voice matters." Repeat this mantra daily, during moments of self-doubt, in front of the mirror, or even in the quiet of your thoughts. This practice not only fosters a strong connection to your true self, but serves as an immediate tool for combating negative self-talk. Over time, this mantra will reinforce your commitment to authenticity whenever you're faced with external pressures. Incorporating mindfulness into your routine can significantly enhance your ability to reconnect with your inner power. Spend a few minutes each day practicing mindfulness meditation. Focus on your breath while sitting quietly, allowing yourself to notice thoughts as they arise without judgment. This practice cultivates awareness, helping you recognize moments when you might be swayed by outside expectations. As you become aware of these pressures, you can make conscious decisions to realign yourself with your authentic values. Another practical exercise is the values clarification activity. Take time to identify your core values and rank them in order of importance. Create a list and reflect on how these values manifest in your daily life. Knowing what genuinely matters to you allows for more intentional decision-making, encouraging you to live in a way that feels authentically aligned with your self-identity. Whenever faced with choices, gauge how they correlate with your identified values. This technique guides you back to your authentic self, nudging you toward growth. Small wins are a crucial part of this process. Let's say you're unsure about speaking your mind in a group scenario. However, instead of staying silent, challenge yourself to share one thought or opinion in your next discussion. Doing this reinforces your ability to express your true self and pushes you out of your comfort zone. Celebrate this win, however small it may seem. Acknowledging these moments of bravery fuels your momentum, helping you build confidence authentically. As you proceed with these exercises, remember that reclaiming your inner power is a journey, not an event. Embrace each step with patience, knowing that lasting change takes time. Acknowledge your progress and allow yourself to feel pride in the strides you're making toward authenticity. As you continue on this path, the next chapter will introduce strategies for navigating external criticism and setting boundaries that protect your authentic self. We will delve into techniques that empower you to handle differing opinions while fortifying your sense of identity. Remember to subscribe to Mindset Liberation for continued insights and encouragement in your personal growth. Your thoughts matter. Feel free to like this content or share your opinions on what resonates with you. Together, we can journey toward living authentically and powerfully. Chapter 5. Building Emotional Self-Reliance. In a world often inundated with external pressures, the key to thriving lies in cultivating emotional self-reliance. The ability to manage your emotional state, independent of external validation and circumstances, is a cornerstone of true resilience and fulfillment. As we navigate life's challenges, recognizing that our emotional well-being is within our control empowers us to create more enriching, authentic experiences. This chapter will guide you toward building your emotional self-reliance by providing practical insights and strategies that affirm your capability to transform your mindset and emotions. The origins of emotional self-reliance can be traced back to various psychological theories. Key psychologists, including Abraham Maslow and Carl Rogers, emphasize the importance of self-actualization and understanding oneself as fundamental to personal growth. Today, research supports the notion that emotionally self-reliant individuals exhibit stronger coping mechanisms, higher life satisfaction, and greater autonomy. A study published in the Journal of Psychological Science reveals that emotionally self-reliant individuals are less prone to anxiety and depression, reflecting a direct correlation between this attribute and overall mental health. Consider the journey of Ben, once plagued by a reliance on external validation for his happiness. An accomplished software engineer, he often found solace in the praise of his superiors and the accolades from colleagues. While his career thrived outwardly, he experienced lingering feelings of inadequacy. Each project completion felt hollow without affirmation. Each moment of silence from peers sent him spiraling into self-doubt. The unseen turmoil bred chronic stress, manifesting in unhealthy work habits that ultimately jeopardized both his well-being and professional performance. Ben's transformation began when he encountered concepts surrounding emotional self-reliance. He learned about the power of internal validation through self-reflection and introspection. In engaging with support groups and educational resources, he discovered that true contentment stems from within, rather than being contingent on external applause. This realization sparked a shift, a growing awareness that his emotional well-being was his responsibility. Emotional self-reliance is not just about fostering independence from external validation. It also requires understanding and processing internal emotions effectively. Research shows that articulating emotions and confronting them without stigma can lead to significant improvements in overall emotional health. When we embrace our emotions, both positive and negative, we pave the way for greater emotional literacy that allows for healthier coping strategies during difficult times. Ben's commitment to enhancing his emotional self-reliance led him to create a daily emotional check-in routine. Each morning, he would spend 5 minutes articulating how he felt, acknowledging both the uplifting emotions and any anxiety he carried into the day. This practice enabled him to reintegrate emotionally into his own experience, rather than running from feelings buried beneath the need for external approval. Over time, such practices enhanced his resilience, empowering him to navigate challenges confidently without depending on others' validation. Building emotional self-reliance is a journey marked by self-exploration and reflection. Many of us have been conditioned to seek external affirmation, which makes acknowledging our ability to gather inner strength a revolutionary act. As this exploration unfolds, understand this transformative journey is an empowering process that can redefine your relationship with your emotions and your overall mental well-being. In the following sections, we will delve deeper into practical exercises designed to fortify your emotional resilience, equipping you with the tools necessary to confidently confront life's challenges. Embrace this imminent journey as a powerful step toward mastering your emotional landscape and ultimately thriving in a world that's often chaotic and unpredictable. The freedom that flows from emotional self-reliance is within your grasp, waiting to be awakened. Building emotional self-reliance is not merely a concept, but a vital practice rooted in psychological principles that can significantly enhance one's quality of life and mental health. This method fosters independence from external validation, enabling individuals to navigate their emotional landscapes with confidence. Scientific research supports the efficacy of this approach, affirming that enhancing emotional self-reliance leads to improved resilience, greater life satisfaction, and a heightened ability to manage stress. The workings of emotional self-reliance hinge on developing a strong internal emotional framework. According to the American Psychological Association, individuals adept at self-regulation, such as those who practice emotional self-reliance, report reduced anxiety levels and an increased sense of overall happiness. A robust self-regulation skill set empowers individuals to identify their emotions, acknowledge them without judgment, and express them appropriately. When we take ownership of our feelings, we diminish the dependency on others for validation, allowing emotional flexibility and growth. Tom, a once introverted teacher, experienced this transformation firsthand. In the early years of his career, Tom found himself entrapped by the opinions of students and colleagues. He constantly sought their approval, measuring his teaching success through the lens of their feedback. This dependence overshadowed his strengths, leading to severe anxiety during evaluations and classes. It wasn't until Tom decided to attend workshops centered on emotional intelligence that he discovered the foundation of emotional self-reliance. Through these workshops, he learned techniques to internalize his sense of worth and enhance self-compassion. Reflective journaling became an essential tool in his daily routine. After each class, Tom would jot down his thoughts about what went well and areas for improvement without factoring in external validation. This practice enabled him to confront his emotions honestly and embrace his worth as an educator, irrespective of external appraisal. The method Tom employed proved effective because it encouraged deep introspection. By reflecting on his experiences, he became adept at recognizing patterns in his emotional responses and began identifying triggers for self-doubt and anxiety. This heightened awareness granted him the power to navigate tough situations with more resilience, understanding that his value as an educator was not restricted to others' opinions, but rather rooted in his dedication to learning and growth. Furthermore, psychological studies establish a significant correlation between emotional self-reliance and mental well-being. One review of literature in the Journal of Social and Clinical Psychology revealed that enhancing one's emotional regulation skills leads to better stress management and higher self-esteem over time. When individuals develop the capacity to articulate their emotional states and validate themselves internally, they engage in proactive rather than reactive emotional processing, positioning themselves favorably for resilience amidst challenges. Tom's experience serves as a powerful testament to the effectiveness of the emotional self-reliance approach as he successfully created a supportive environment for growth, both for his students and himself. Throughout his journey, he transitioned from seeking affirmation externally to empowering himself by using his unique strengths to enhance his teaching style. Understanding this method's effectiveness inspires urgency in practice. The rewards of emotional self-reliance extend beyond personal satisfaction. They equip you with the tools to handle life's inevitable ups and downs with grace and fortitude. As we delve deeper into this chapter, we will uncover practical strategies and exercises designed to build upon this foundation of self-reliance. Prepare to take further steps toward mastering your emotional well-being and paving the way for a resilient and satisfying life. Embrace the opportunity that lies ahead. The power to carry yourself forward, unfettered by external pressures or fears. To cultivate emotional self-reliance, it's essential to engage in practical and actionable steps that will empower you to manage your emotions effectively. Start by implementing a daily emotional check-in. This simple yet profound exercise involves taking 5 to 10 minutes each day to pause and identify your emotional state. Sit in a quiet space and ask yourself, "How do I feel today?" Write down your emotions without judgment, whether they be positive or negative. By acknowledging what you're experiencing, you foster a sense of ownership over your feelings, creating a foundation of self-awareness that is crucial for emotional self-reliance. Next, practice the art of self-validation. Rather than seeking approval from others, prioritize validating your own feelings and achievements. At the end of each day, take a moment to reflect on one accomplishment, big or small, and acknowledge your effort. For instance, you might say to yourself, "I handled that challenging situation well," or "I navigated my meetings with confidence." This practice not only reinforces your sense of achievement, but also nurtures your emotional independence, reducing the need for external affirmation. Furthermore, integrate mindfulness into your routine. Mindfulness practices allow you to observe your thoughts and emotions without becoming entangled in them. Start with a brief, 10-minute meditation, focusing on your breathing, while allowing thoughts to pass without judgment. When you cultivate this awareness, you train your mind to respond thoughtfully rather than reactively, enhancing your capacity to manage your emotional states effectively. Next, delve into the concept of reframing negative thoughts. When you notice a negative thought creeping in, consciously challenge and flip it into a more positive or constructive one. If you find yourself thinking, "I'll never be good enough," reframe that to, "I'm continually growing and improving." This mental shift opens the door to self-compassion, enabling you to embrace your journey rather than critique yourself harshly. Consider keeping a reframe journal, where you write down these reshaped thoughts, allowing you to track patterns and progress over time. Small wins play a vital role in building your emotional strength. For instance, challenge yourself to express your feelings more openly during conversations. Set a goal for the next time you are in a discussion. Choose one emotion to honestly share, whether it's excitement about a project or apprehension about a deadline. Celebrating your ability to vocalize your feelings reinforces your emotional self-reliance and instills a sense of accomplishment. Lastly, connect with a supportive community that values emotional self-reliance. Share your experiences and practices with friends or family members who want to foster their emotional independence as well. Connecting with others in similar journeys not only provides encouragement, but a safe space to discuss challenges and victories, fostering growth together. As we conclude this chapter, the upcoming discussion will shift focus to setting healthy boundaries, an essential aspect of enhancing emotional self-reliance. Understanding how to establish and maintain boundaries protects your well-being and affirms your right to have emotional space. Prepare to embrace the insights and strategies that will empower you to assert your needs with confidence and authenticity. Before you move on, remember to subscribe to Mindset Liberation to stay updated on future content that supports your personal development journey. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Don't hesitate to like this section or leave a comment with feedback or suggestions. Together, we're embarking on a transformative path toward emotional strength and fulfillment. Chapter 6. Living Fully Beyond Ego. Embracing a life free from the constricting influence of the ego is not just an aspiration, it is a transformative journey toward authentic living. The ego, often defined as the self-centered aspect of our identity that craves validation and recognition, can cloud our perception and hinder personal development. However, the liberation that comes from moving beyond ego allows individuals to express their true selves, leading to fulfilling relationships, a greater sense of purpose, and an invigorated sense of well-being. In this chapter, we will explore how to cultivate a life that transcends the ego, empowering you to live fully and authentically. The origin of the ego's grip arises from various psychological and societal factors, including a desire for social acceptance and internalized beliefs about self-worth. According to research by the American Psychological Association, nearly 60% of individuals struggle with feelings of inadequacy, primarily tied to ego-driven thoughts, showcasing how widespread this detachment from the authentic self has become. While the ego can serve a protective function, ensuring survival and acceptance within social constructs, a disproportionate reliance on it can stifle emotional growth and true fulfillment. Consider the story of James, a successful entrepreneur who seemed to have it all: financial security, esteem in his community, and a burgeoning company. However, despite outward appearances, he felt an emptiness gnawing within him. The accolades and successes only served to reinforce his ego, prompting a perpetual cycle of seeking further validation through societal achievements. His relationships suffered. Authentic connections felt superficial, as he shielded his vulnerabilities and prioritized external approval. James's journey began to shift when he experienced a series of personal setbacks, a business failure that punctured his ego, and a fallout with a close friend that left him feeling isolated and disheartened. It was during this tumultuous period that he discovered the concept of living beyond the ego, a theme entrenched in mindfulness practices and philosophical teachings. Intrigued, he began to explore how embracing vulnerability could create authentic connections and cultivate his inherent self-worth, free from the dictates of his ego. Psychological studies have shown that practicing mindfulness as a pathway to understanding and overcoming the ego's influence results in improved emotional well-being, better conflict resolution, and increased empathy. A study in the journal Emotion found that participants who engaged in mindfulness meditation reported greater emotional resilience and a decreased ability to identify with their ego-driven thoughts. This awareness frees individuals to observe their thoughts and feelings objectively, encouraging a deeper connection to their authentic selves rather than the ego's subjective narrative. As James delved deeper into mindfulness techniques, he harnessed tools such as breathwork and reflective journaling to foster awareness of his emotional barriers and ego-driven thoughts. Through these practices, he began to realign his focus on what truly mattered: his values, relationships, and passions. He learned that living meaningfully required vulnerability and the courage to confront the parts of himself intertwined with the ego's grip. Living beyond the ego ultimately inspires a profound shift in perspective, allowing individuals to recognize their intrinsic worth rather than seeking validation through external sources. This transition reactivates a vibrant sense of autonomy and empowers individuals to engage fully with life as their authentic selves. The realization that our worth does not hinge on social accolades enables fertile ground for genuine connections and emotional fulfillment. As we progress in this chapter, you will learn practical techniques and insights that can help you implement strategies to live fully beyond the ego. By embracing the power to recognize and surpass the ego's limitations, you can cultivate an enriching journey toward authenticity that allows you to speak and act from the deepest part of yourself. Now is the time to harness this transformative potential, stepping boldly towards living a fulfilled and genuine life. Living beyond the ego requires intentional practices that foster genuine self-awareness and connection, and the effectiveness of these methods lies in their ability to facilitate genuine transformation. When we shift the focus from ego-driven motives, such as the need for validation or seeking approval from others, to a more authentic self, we begin to cultivate emotional resilience and enhance our overall quality of life. This shift not only decreases anxiety and self-doubt, but also nurtures deeper relationships built on vulnerability and trust. Research underscores the impact of these transformations. A study published in the journal Psychological Science found that individuals who engage in practices that promote authenticity, such as expressing vulnerability and mindfulness, experience increased emotional well-being. The research highlighted that activities aligning with one's core values foster a stronger sense of self, displacing the ego's insistence on external validation. Participants reported less anxiety and deeper satisfaction in their relationships, supporting the notion that breaking free from the ego leads to a more fulfilled existence. To illustrate the profound effect of this transformation, let's revisit James. After embracing the practices of mindfulness and vulnerability, he discovered a newfound ability to reflect on his thoughts without judgment. He began documenting his experiences in a daily journal, where he not only noted his successes, but also explored his insecurities and feelings of self-doubt. This practice grounded him in reality, helping him recognize that his worth was intrinsic, not reliant on external approval, an awareness that lessened the ego's control. Through connection with supportive peers, James also embraced authentic conversations, sharing his struggles and fears with friends he once shielded himself from. This willingness to be open created a ripple effect, fostering deeper relationships and leaving him feeling more connected. He noted that interacting with others from a place of authenticity generated compassion rather than judgment, proving that vulnerability fosters community rather than alienation. The effectiveness of living beyond the ego stems from the dissolution of fear of judgment, fear of unworthiness, and fear of failure. By engaging with one's emotions, as James learned to do, you replace the fear tethered to ego with a sense of exploration and curiosity. This transitional mindset catalyzes personal growth, leaving individuals with the ability to meet challenges with resilience. Every time an individual steps outside the shadow of the ego to embrace vulnerability, they strengthen their emotional fortitude, ultimately enabling greater and greater measures of personal power and insight. In practice, reframing setbacks as growth opportunities becomes a natural response when operating beyond ego. You learn to view challenges as part of the journey rather than definitions of failure, significantly reducing stress and fostering creative problem-solving. This shift can have profound implications, allowing emotional equilibrium to take root, even in turbulent times. Integrating the principles of living beyond the ego inspires a lifestyle where the focus is on intrinsic values and authentic self-expression, paving the way for deep personal fulfillment. The urgency in adopting this method involves recognizing the limitations imposed by the ego and understanding the unrelenting toll it can take on mental health and relationships. By choosing to live authentically, you embark on a transformative path to reach your true potential. As we delve further into this chapter, we will explore actionable techniques and exercises designed to help eliminate the influence of the ego and strengthen your commitment to an authentic existence. Prepare to embrace pragmatic strategies that will empower you to foster a rich and fulfilling life, rooted in authenticity and emotional resilience. This journey leads to a profound understanding of self, a vital component in the pursuit and realization of genuine happiness. Your authentic life awaits. It is time to step forward boldly into this transformation. To live fully beyond the ego, it's essential to engage in specific practices that cultivate authentic self-awareness and enable you to reconnect with your true self. Start your journey by committing to a daily practice of self-reflection. Each morning, dedicate 10 minutes to sit quietly and check in with yourself. Ask questions like, what core values do I want to embody today? And what truly matters to me? Use these moments for introspection, allowing insights to shape your thoughts and intentions for the day ahead. Document your reflections in a journal to solidify your understanding of your authentic self over time. Next, embrace the art of vulnerability in your interactions. Challenge yourself to share something personal with someone in your life. This could be discussing your aspirations, fears, or values. You might start small by sharing a specific goal with a close friend or expressing gratitude to someone whom you appreciate. This practice reinforces community ties and diminishes the ego's defenses while allowing you to embody your authentic self. Each time you express vulnerability, celebrate this win. Recognize the courage it takes to step outside of your comfort zone. In addition to fostering vulnerability, integrate mindfulness into your daily routine. Mindfulness allows you to observe your thoughts and feelings without attachment, creating a space between you and ego-driven narratives. Dedicate a few minutes each day to practice mindfulness meditation. Focus on your breath and observe any thoughts that arise without judgment. With regular practice, you will strengthen the ability to witness how thoughts, especially those rooted in ego, can fluctuate without defining who you are. A consistent mindfulness practice cultivates emotional resilience and equips you to live beyond ego-driven concerns. As you navigate your days, consciously replace ego-oriented self-talk with affirmations grounded in authenticity. Instead of saying, "I need to impress others," reframe your thoughts to instill confidence. "I value myself, irrespective of others' opinions." Create a list of affirmations that resonate deeply with you, incorporating qualities that reflect your true self. Repeat these affirmations in the morning and evening as a daily reminder that your worth is innate and not dependent on external validation. Small wins are vital for building momentum in your journey. Engage in activities that bring joy, painting, writing, dancing, or spending time in nature, without worrying about others' perceptions. These moments empower you to reconnect with your essence, reinforcing your identity outside the confines of ego. Every time you engage in an activity purely for enjoyment, celebrate that you are enriching your authentic self. As you implement these strategies, recognize that living beyond the ego is an ongoing process. Be gentle with yourself as you navigate this journey. Keep track of your progress in your journal, noting moments when you felt connected to your true self and when you successfully reframed ego-driven thoughts. This record serves as encouragement, reminding you of the courage and progress you've already made. Remember to subscribe to Mindset Liberation for ongoing support as you embark on this transformative journey. Engaging with this content can deepen your understanding and empower your growth. Don't hesitate to like this section or leave a comment sharing your thoughts, personal stories, or suggestions for future topics. Together, we can fuel our collective path toward authentic living and unparalleled emotional strength. In this journey through the ego trap, why it's stopping you from living fully, we have explored the multifaceted nature of the ego and how it impacts our mental health, relationships, and overall sense of self-worth. From identifying the ego's influence in our lives, to escaping self-validation cycles and reclaiming our inner authentic power, each chapter has equipped you with practical tools and strategies aimed at cultivating emotional self-reliance and facilitating authentic living. We've learned that by shifting our focus inward and practicing self-compassion, mindfulness, and vulnerability, we can break free from the constraints imposed by the ego and embrace a more fulfilling existence. Thank you for investing your time in this transformative content. Your commitment to growth and self-discovery is commendable. If you found value in this journey, please take a moment to like this video, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to our channel. Your engagement helps us create a supportive community dedicated to empowerment and personal development. Together, let's continue to explore the path toward authentic living and emotional resilience, ensuring that we all have the tools to fully embrace and enjoy life.